sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Honey, oh, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. I just can't believe the loveliness of loving you. I just can't believe it's true. I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true. Ah, sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Oh, honey, oh, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. When I kissed you, girl, I knew how sweet a kiss could be. I know how sweet a kiss can be. Like the summer sunshine, pour your sweetness over me. Pour your sweetness over me. Oh, sugar, sugar.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to learn how to draw a cupcake in the style of Wayne Thiebaud. So I want you to draw this along with me, and we're starting out on a piece of white practice paper. The reason we're doing that is so that we can practice, we can figure out how to draw this, and it doesn't matter if we make a mistake. So I want you to practice as many times as you need to, and if you mess up, just move over to a different spot on your page and keep drawing. All right, and then once we've finished practicing and we've gotten comfortable with drawing a cupcake, you're going to draw it onto your final piece of paper, which we're then going to add some color to later. But first of all, let's start with the steps for making our cupcake. So you're going to be drawing with pencil. I'm using a pen just so that you can see what I'm doing very clearly on the video. So the first thing, we're going to start with a horizontal line. Think about where you want your cupcake to be on your page. Do you want it right in the middle? Do you want it over to the side so you can add several cupcakes? I think I'm going to come over to the side just a little bit, and I'm going to draw a horizontal line. I don't want it to be too long because I don't want a giant cupcake. I'm going to draw a horizontal line like that. And then I'm going to draw two vertical lines, but I don't want them to be straight up and down. I want my cupcake to come out just a little bit. So my lines are going to be sort of diagonal, okay? Think about how big you want your cupcake to be, and then draw a diagonal line just like that. And next I'm going to draw a diagonal line on the other side, leaning out this direction. So this line was leaning this way, and this line is going to be leaning this way. So if you need to practice with your finger drawing that line, you can do that. So I'm going to start right here at the end of my horizontal line and draw a vertical line kind of diagonal like that. And I want both my lines to be about the same length. I don't want one of them to be way up here and this one to be really short. Okay? So once you've drawn your two diagonal vertical lines, we're going to connect them. Now I could connect them with a curved line like that, but I think I'm going to make this one a little more interesting. I'm going to connect it with a zigzag line. I'm going to do a zigzag all the way across like that, just to make my cupcake look a little more interesting. And let's see, I think I'll even put some diagonal stripes on my cupcake. Maybe this is a fancy cupcake paper. And that'll give me something to color in nice and bright a little bit later. So next I'm going to do our frosting on our cupcake. Now we can do this several ways. I'm sure you guys have eaten all kinds of different cupcakes. It could be just a round cupcake. Maybe we'll start out, this first one will be just a round one. Up like that from one side of my cupcake cup to the other. It's just a nice round cupcake. And then maybe there's a big blob of frosting on top of this cupcake. Now you're drawing in pencil, so you can come in and erase that line right there. With my pen I can't do that, but you're drawing nice and lightly so that you can erase, so you could come in and erase that line. And then maybe there's a big cherry right on top of this cupcake with a stem like that. So that's one way I can draw my cupcake. Now let's try drawing one that's a little bit different. On the bottom, I'm going to start with my horizontal line, but instead of making a line that goes straight across, I'm going to make it a little bit curved, kind of like a smile. Not too big of a smile, just a little smile. And the reason why I'm doing that is so that it'll make my cupcake look three-dimensional. So my horizontal line this time is a curve, it's a little smile. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw my two vertical lines that are a little bit diagonal. So I'm going to start at the end of my curve and draw a diagonal line like that. And to the other side, I'm going to draw a diagonal line like that. And again, we want them to be the same length so that when we connect them, one side isn't really super tall. So I think this time I'm going to do a curved line again to connect the top of my two vertical lines. And I want it to be the same curve as I did down here. So take your finger and trace this curved line that you did down at the bottom, and then come up here and make a similar curve at the top. Sort of like that. So it's not a big curve, it's just slightly curved. And again, I can come down here and I can decorate my cupcake paper however I want to, or you could leave it plain if you wanted. And then I think I'm going to do a cupcake that has tons and tons of frosting on it. I'm going to do several layers of frosting. I'm going to do one like that. Notice I just sort of did a curved line, and it's lower on one side than it is on the other. See, this curve is lower than this one. But there's no perfect way to make frosting on your cupcake. Have you ever seen a perfect cupcake, or a cupcake that was exactly the same as every other cupcake? That would be boring. So just make a curved line that goes from one side of your cupcake to the other. Next, I'm going to pick a spot up here on my cupcake, maybe about here, and put a little dot. And I'm going to do another layer of frosting. I want this to look like somebody swirled some frosting up onto a nice cupcake. So I'm going to do another curved line that does something similar, just like that. It's still a little high on this side, that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And again, we're drawing very lightly with our pencil so that we can erase any of these lines that we don't like. So if you're not happy with your cupcake, you can erase, or you can move to a different spot on your practice paper. So next I think I'll put the top on my cupcake, and I want a nice swirly icing up on the top. So I'm going to do a curved line, again, like that. But instead of continuing over to the other side, I'm going to curve back like this. So it looks like a question mark or a 2. And then I'm going to start at that same spot. I'm going to put my pencil on the end of that curve that I just made. And I'm going to come way up here and connect down here to our other layer of frosting. And you can practice that with your finger if you want to, until you feel comfortable drawing it in. Remember to draw very lightly with your pencil so that you can erase it if you're not happy with it. I'm going to come around just like that. Make a nice swirly top to my cupcake. And then I can come back and put any sort of decorations that I want. Again, I could put some cherries or some fruit. Maybe you want to put some sprinkles. Maybe you have some star-shaped sprinkles. Maybe one of your layers has some swirls through it. There are tons of ways that you could make your cupcake. So what I would like for you to do on your practice paper, practice drawing at least 3 different kinds of cupcakes. Draw different kinds of bases, do different patterns on them, make it curved to look more 3-dimensional. Try doing different kinds of frosting. Really experiment and get creative with what you would like on the top of your cupcake. And maybe you've even made a birthday cupcake, so you'd like to put a candle on the top. You can draw a candle by drawing 2 vertical lines close together. And then you're going to connect them with a curved line, again like a smile. So I'm going to connect the bottom of my 2 lines with a smile. And the same thing up at the top. I'm going to start with a smile with a curved line that goes down like this. And then I'm going to put a little hat on top. I'm going to do a curved line that goes over like this. So that's the base of my candle. And then I can put the wick of my candle right there. Okay? So on your practice paper, experiment with different kinds of cupcakes. You can even experiment with drawing them on a plate. I'm going to draw an ellipse, which is a circle that's been kind of smashed down, so an oval, more like a football. That's how you make a plate. Instead of a big round shape, make an ellipse. They could be sitting on some sort of napkin or doily. It's up to you. Practice drawing at least 3 different kinds of cupcakes on your practice paper. And then once you feel comfortable, once you're happy with what you've drawn, I want you to draw 3 different cupcakes on your final paper. We're going to use black paper for our final drawing. Again, I want you to draw lightly in pencil on your black paper. Draw 3 different cupcakes, however you would like them to be arranged. And then next week we will start coloring with our oil pastels to give them lots of color, and we'll also talk about how to use value to make them look more 3-dimensional.